The Funhouse. It was supposed to be the perfect night. Emily, Jake, Sarah, and Alex had just finished midterms and were ready to blow off some steam. The night started at a raucous university party in a dimly lit fraternity house, music thumping, lights flashing. They were planning to stay for a while, but Jake had a different idea. "Guys, I heard about this creepy old carnival that's still open downtown. It's got all the classic rides," he said with a mischievous grin. Emily hesitated. "A carnival? At night? That sounds ... weird." "Oh, come on, it'll be fun, and way better than just staying here all night," Alex chimed in. Sarah, always the adventurous one, raised an eyebrow. "I'm in, but it better not be some sketchy place." After some convincing, the group left the party, piling into Alex's car. As they drove through the quiet, dark streets, the city seemed to vanish, swallowed by the mist that clung to the outskirts. They arrived at the carnival, which stood against the fog like a forgotten relic. Flickering lights illuminated rickety rides, and an old, rusted sign read, "Welcome to the Funhouse." Jake was the first to jump out of the car. "This is awesome." But something was off. There were no other cars, no other people, just them ... and the carnival. Still, they bought tickets from a tired-looking man in a booth who never spoke. He just handed them wristbands with a smile that was more unsettling than welcoming. They shrugged it off and started wandering around, riding the rides, playing rigged games, trying to enjoy themselves. But everything felt hollow. The laughter of the animatronic clowns was tinny and offbeat. The smell of the popcorn stale, the rides unnaturally silent, as if the whole place was waiting for something. "I don't like this," Emily whispered to Sarah as they stood by the Ferris wheel. "This place feels wrong." Before Sarah could respond, Alex and Jake came running up, breathless and excited. "We found the haunted house." "Come on," Jake's enthusiasm was infectious, but Emily's unease deepened. The haunted house was exactly what you'd expect: dark corridors, cheap jump scares, cobwebs, and mannequins in creepy costumes. But halfway through, the sound of scraping metal echoed from behind them. "Was that part of the show?" Emily asked, her voice wavering. Sarah shook her head. "I don't think so." The group froze, and suddenly a door that hadn't been there before creaked open. At the end of the hall, Jake, eager as ever, led the way inside. On the other side, they found themselves in what looked like a twisted funhouse mirror maze. But these mirrors weren't normal. Each one reflected not just their image, but twisted, distorted versions of themselves, horrific, gaunt, with hollow eyes and faces frozen in silent screams. "Let's get out of here," Sarah said, pulling on Alex's sleeve. They tried to backtrack, but the way they came had vanished, leaving them trapped in the maze. As they wandered, their reflections seemed to move independently, getting closer and closer to the glass until the figures began pounding on the mirrors, trying to break through. "This isn't right. This can't be real," Emily screamed, her breath shallow. And then the glass cracked. The distorted reflections crawled through the cracks, stepping out of the mirrors and into the maze. The friends ran, but the exit eluded them at every turn. Just as Emily felt a cold hand brush her neck, they burst through a final door, collapsing onto the grass outside. The mirrors were gone, the carnival was gone, but they weren't safe yet. Disoriented and terrified, the group stumbled back to Alex's car. As they drove away, they passed the same carnival they had entered, but now it was a ruined decayed, overgrown, and clearly abandoned for decades. None of them spoke. They didn't know what they had seen, and none of them wanted to find out. They pulled up to the nearest hotel, a decrepit, old building that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1970s. But it was the only place open. Desperate for sleep, they checked in. The night clerk barely acknowledged them, handing over a key with a warning. "You're in room 313. Don't answer the door if someone knocks after midnight." Too exhausted to question him, they hurried to the room, bolted the door, and collapsed into bed. The events of the night felt like a fevered dream, but none of them spoke of it, hoping sleep would make it all go away. At 12:01 a.m., there was a knock. It was soft at first, then louder, a pounding on the door that shook the walls. Jake stood up, moving toward it, as if in a trance. "Don't," Emily whispered. "Remember what the clerk said." But Jake didn't listen. As he turned the knob, the door flew open, and there, standing in the hallway, were their reflections, twisted, broken, and hungry. The door slammed shut behind Jake, trapping him outside with them. His screams echoed through the halls as the others huddled together, terrified, knowing they were next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.